Hey guys, welcome back to discussions with Coach Mike. And today, well, usually we talk about how to improve your athletics in cycling or swimming or running. But today is a special edition, and Mike brought up an important aspect of athletics or just spinal health is thoracic mobility. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. So Mike, what's your experience with thoracic mobility and how it impacts your athletes?
Generally speaking, a person that's really locked up with thoracic mobility is a very poor swimmer, has difficulty getting in the aero position on the bike, and running is very difficult for them. But in general, what Peter and I are going to talk about today, no matter what your sport, you can benefit from greater thoracic mobility. We've got a couple really good tips for you. And one of the things that we are going to talk about is that you are working with soft tissue, so it does take some time to get everything mobile. And we've got a couple things. You may have tried foam rollers on your upper back and found out that the pain is just too much for you to endure. We've got a great little thing that probably everybody, if you've been around a swimming pool, has one. And we'll show you how to use it.
Perfect. Yeah, I just want to dive in quickly about why it's important. There's a lot of studies that show for your shoulder health, believe it or not, your thoracic mobility is actually quite important. If, for example, in today's society, we're on the phone a lot, we're on the computer a lot, so gravity is pulling us forward. And so if we stay there for hours upon days upon months, our spine starts to almost remember and stay in that position. And then when you try to get yourself into athletics or just even overhead reaching, like in the cabinets, you have less range of motion in your spine, therefore it puts more stress on your shoulder. So it's quite important, not from just an injury prevention standpoint, but also a performance standpoint. So we'll talk about these next clips will be more exercises on what you guys can do to help your thoracic mobility, whether that's thoracic extension, which is backwards, or thoracic rotation. So we'll focus on those two movements. And this again is not just for athletes, it's for kids who are maybe on the computer on these Zoom calls, for adults who are sitting on the computer typing, even to higher level elite athletes also need this. So the human body is the human body, and everyone needs thoracic mobility, right?
Exactly. And Peter mentioned elite athletes. I don't know if anybody watched the Saints and the Buccaneers game, but there was a shot of Drew Brees warming up, and unfortunately he didn't have a very good day, but his mobility with his warm-up was absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah.
So just something to think about.
Yeah, those quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, those guys have a great warm-up routine, and I'm sure they've spent many hours with their coaches dissecting what's best for their body. So definitely, again, if you're trying to improve your body athletically or just for general health, consult a movement specialist to create that program for you. But today is just generic tips to help you get through your day and to improve, hopefully reduce your pain potentially, but also improve your performance as well.
Okay, so our first tip is working with your soft tissue. And probably if you've gone on YouTube and looked at thoracic mobility, you see people with foam rollers. What we found is sometimes foam rollers are just too aggressive to get the movement that we're looking for. So what we're going to suggest is if you've got a pool noodle, this is the greatest thing to use so that you can spend enough time to build your mobility. So with the pool noodle, you can start, and it's strictly personal preference, either with your low back or more up on the shoulder area. I personally like up on the shoulder area, and it's very easy to do. So what we're looking for here
Thoracic mobility.
Is a rotation, and you want to come all the way over and roll your hip into the end point. And then move it down a little bit. And you want to go about the width of the noodle as you move it down. So, you know, something to think about. And like I say, I like to start with my shoulders and go from there. So this is a great one for to start your mobility work. Now Peter's going to show us some other things that we want to take a look at when we're working with the thoracic spine.
Mike was showing you guys how to use a generic pool noodle. This is great because it's softer. Foam rolls, like he said, are typically too firm for a lot of people. If you're more the athletic mind and you can kind of take on the pain, then that's fine. But definitely starting off with this would be a good start. And so he was demonstrating a thoracic rotation with slight extension. So let's say you have pretty good rotation already and you're just trying to work on thoracic extension. And that's again important for your shoulder health, for your neck health, for your athletic performance, for your breathing patterns as well. So definitely important to get you out of the flex position and get you into more of a neutral extended position. So we'll just use the same noodle here. We'll be right over here, and I'll use this later. But you can start off with just simply laying on your back. Wherever your shoulder blades are, you can just rest them there. And for yourself, support your head, because you don't want to put too much strain on your neck, but support your head. It's almost like you're doing a crunch, but you're not really crunching. You're actually doing a reverse crunch. So go and just let your body tip back. Keep your core slightly engaged so you don't flare your ribs too much. And I want you to just bend at that segment that this noodle is on. And just lean back and forward, just like this. Keep your neck at a proper position and just mobilize back and forth. Usually I recommend about 30. If you want to spend a minute or two just doing this, if you have a pretty stiff thoracic spine, about 30 of these. And then you can just scoot down to a different segment and just work on that thoracic extension. The reason why the hands are up here, it also stretches out your pecs and your lats potentially here. So go and lean back over and then back forward like this. Keeping that core tension, keep that brace on like so. All right, let's say you progress from this and you don't really feel anything. That's when the foam roller can be helpful. So I'm gonna switch this out. Here we go. Same position, core muscles are engaged. Support your head and try to bend and hinge at the spot that you feel like is too flexed. Like so. Keep some tension here, don't let it flare out too much. And then forward. Same thing, mobilize. So it's not just a passive stretch, a relaxing exercise, it's actually also a control exercise. So try to control it through the core, mobilize, and back. Perfect. All right, so in the next clips, we'll show you guys more thoracic rotation because the thoracic spine is built for rotation.
Generally speaking, your soft tissue is going to tell you how many. You're going to start to feel a loosening of the soft tissue, and that's really what we're looking for. The other thing is when. Generally speaking, our recommendation is if you're doing some kind of a sport that puts your shoulders in this position and your back in either a bent or a neutral position, you should put some spinal work into your cool down or even your warm up, depending upon what the sport is.
Absolutely, yeah. Coming from an injury rehab standpoint, definitely, more is better if you can tolerate the pain. Imagine the years, like I said earlier, the years or time you've been in a forward position. It will take time, like Mike said, for the soft tissue to relax. And so it usually takes about 2 weeks for you to notice some changes, to notice some release, but continue to be consistent. This is going to be a daily routine, just like you brush your teeth every day to take care of your teeth. Same thing, our spine and our body does need attention, and we tend to neglect that. So spend at least 5 to 10 minutes a day taking care of your spine, taking care of your thoracic mobility, and I think that'll be very helpful for you. Again, just as a summary, the important aspects of thoracic spine mobility is not just for your neck or just the spine itself. It's important for your breathing. It's important for you maintaining great posture, and it's also ways to reduce your injury risk for shoulder, neck issues, all that stuff. And lastly, it also helps you with performance, right? It also helps you to become a better athlete, whatever your sport is, whether you're a basketball player, runner, tennis player, surfer. Everyone needs to move, and the rib cage and the thoracic spine is vital to make sure and to improve your performance, and it's vital to have a great athletic career. All right? So guys, if any questions at all, we'd be happy to answer some of your questions. Today was focusing on thoracic spine mobility and the importance of that. If anyone has any questions about specific things, feel free to reach out to Coach Mike and I. We'd be happy to answer them. All right?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good day.